Welcome back. Today in our Sunday Spotlight, Jen Rizzotti, the UConn women's basketball superstar, is now an Olympic medalist, winning gold in Tokyo as an assistant coach of USA basketball in April. She was named the president of the Connecticut Sun organization. Jen Rizzotti joins us this morning here on CT21. Thank you for being with us. So obviously a familiar face to Connecticut basketball fans. Tell us, what does president of Connecticut Sun mean? What are you doing day to day?
Well, to be honest, I'm still figuring it out. No, I'll be in charge of all the basketball and business operations. So just kind of overseeing the organization, doing what I need to do to help the basketball team with their continued success and figuring out how to win a WNBA championship, and then filling the seats, filling the stands, making sure we're, creating great partnerships with sponsors in the area and just being a outwardly facing person from the staff that can really make people excited about having a WNBA team in New England.
I know you spent a lot of years as a college coach at UHart and then down at George Washington. And I know from talking to other coaches that the grind of that is significant. This job obviously is different. I mean, the whiteboard probably doesn't have X's and O's on it, maybe names of possible sponsors, right? So have you been enjoying this transition? Is it a good job to hold?
I have. And you're right. College coaching is definitely a grind. And after 22 years, it continued to get harder and harder for many different reasons. So I think the pivot for me in going into this direction has been healthy. It's going to present different challenges and there'll be different stresses. But I think it's what I need in my life right now. I'm obviously excited about being able to return to my home state and be around my family and enjoy, people knowing who I am and what I've done for basketball in Connecticut and trying to continue to bring that excitement to the Connecticut Sun. We already attract a lot of fans. We're, got the best home court advantage in the league. So I want to make sure we're continuing to build on that and utilizing my platform and my voice as a leader to amplify the voices of my players and all the causes that, we're trying to promote within our organization.
Well, you got to the midway point of the season. ESPN said they were number 3 in the power ranking. So far, the Rizzotti era with the Connecticut Sun is looking pretty good. You were just in Tokyo bringing home a gold medal as an assistant coach. I want to ask you about that. You've been involved with USA basketball for a long time, but here you are, and probably as we see you here with a medal with a couple other UConn legends there. What was that experience like for you?
It was unbelievable. Obviously, Tokyo during COVID, when only 20% of the country's vaccinated, wasn't ideal. Not being able to have our friends and family there was difficult mentally and emotionally, but it just allowed us to really bond together and form a really tight-knit unit. To be a part of the legacy of the women's national team and winning its 7th consecutive gold medal, it's such an honor. And to be able to do it with players like Sue and Diana and some of the other UConn players and WNBA greats, and most importantly, helping Dawn Staley win her first gold medal as a head coach. It was a really special experience that I'll never forget. It definitely goes down as one of my all-time greats.
I didn't know this until I was researching you for this interview, but you lived in Tokyo for a while. And I think one of the things that was so unfortunate, and you kind of mentioned it, one of the great things about going to these countries is getting to see them, and you guys really didn't, right?
Yeah, we didn't. And I was honestly only 3 miles away from where I used to live in Tokyo. So it was kind of funny to be so close and yet so far. And, when I had a chance to be a scout for the Rio Olympics, I could travel around, I could go to other events and really experience the Olympics a little bit. So this one was a little different. We watched a lot of Olympics on the television. We were in live time. We were able to support our men's program a little bit because we were staying in the same hotel. But we didn't really get to experience Japan. And having lived there for 4 years when I was in middle school and high school, it's a special place. And I wish the Olympic athletes and the fans could have experienced the culture there and how wonderful the Japanese people are.
I want to ask you a little bit about the state of college athletics. Obviously, the big 95 season that you were a part of, a lot has changed since then. We hear all this talk, the NIL, the name, image, and license, and athletes being able to profit off themselves. We saw Paige Beckers getting a copyright or a trademark, I should say, on Paige buckets. I mean, back in 95, could we have seen Rizzotti's Manicottis at like an Olive Garden near you or something? Is that something that, you look back on and say, boy, things have really changed?
Well, absolutely. And it's one of the reasons that college coaching is hard. There's so much more to think about as a college coach than just X's and O's. But I'm excited about the potential growth for women's basketball with this opportunity. I don't know that I always supported it in the beginning because we get so much as college athletes when you think about scholarships and you get your travel paid for and you get the experience traveling around the world. But when I think about the inequities in men's and women's basketball and how social media influencers are mostly women, this is a great opportunity for us to market our game and market the special players in our game. And that momentum is going to carry to the WNBA season when these college kids graduate. So, it's good for them that they'll have a chance to make money because when they get out of the college and they go to the WNBA, these rookies make about 70 grand. So if they can profit off of their name, image, and likeness in college, good for them. And it's going to be good for the WNBA as well. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. There'll be a lot to manage for some of these college coaches. But I think overall for the women's game, we need that boost. We need people to be paying attention, and we need people to recognize how special the young ladies in our game are.
You mentioned the inequality piece of it. Roberta Kaplan just published a study over the past week, the civil rights litigator, saying that men's March Madness just wipes out everything else in athletics. And we saw some of those viral videos, I'm sure you did, with the weight room and the changes in meals between the men's and women's tournaments. What do you make of that as a former female athlete?
Yeah, the meals in the weight room's nothing. To be honest, this report exposed all the inequities that have been going on for decades. And we're talking about the lack of promotion of women's basketball, the lack of staffing and resources, even down to where our VP reports to. And so I think it's good that right now we're able to capitalize on this opportunity to expose those inequities and force the NCAA to do something about it. These women deserve the same experience. We've been devalued. Our deal with ESPN, it has been dishonest in terms of the value that we have on that network. And so we've always been painted in this picture of losing money, being the biggest losers in the NCAA. But that's because nobody's really valued women's basketball and what it has meant in the increased viewership over the years. So I encourage people to read the report when they can and continue to fight for women's basketball. This has been going on for decades. Like I said, I'm excited that there'll hopefully be some change, and we're going to hold some people accountable to make sure that our female student athletes across the board, not just in basketball, get to experience the same thing that men's basketball and football players get to experience.
Jen, I've only got about 10 seconds left, but give me a quick pitch. You got about 5 more weeks in your season before you head hopefully to the playoffs. Why should people come out and see the Sun?
Yeah, it's great live entertainment. We've got a great team that's exciting to watch. We're vying for our first ever WNBA championship. So, hey, Connecticut's the capital of basketball. So come out and watch the Connecticut Sun this summer.
All right, Jen Rizzotti, the president of the Connecticut Sun, thank you for joining us. That is CT21 for this week. CBS Sunday Morning is next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.
Thanks for watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Watch us live wherever you are on our mobile, on our streaming news app. And you can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.